Good afternoon. I'm Jason Smith. I'll be your host today. I'm joined here by Milt Rhodes with Arden Homes of Winston-Salem. Milt is the principal planner for Welden Village in Kernersville. We're going to sit down and have some conversation today and even take a tour and walk around the community and let you see firsthand what's going on out here. Milt, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got with Arden on the front end of this project.
Yeah. Hey, Jason. Thanks for having me out here. And for the opportunity to talk a little bit about this Welden Village project. So I serve as the principal planner for Arden Homes, and we work on a number of different development projects outside of Welden. I joined the team in 2014 when Welden Village was really just an idea. As a planner working in this type of development, you start with a vision and you work with stakeholders to come up with the way to execute that plan. And that's what my background was working with groups to come up and sort of let the ideas come out, and how do you put them on a piece of paper, how do you go build them. As an architect working in Florida with a consulting firm, doing this around the country, I got to see a wide variety of opportunities. And when I got a chance to come home to Winston-Salem, I lived in Winston-Salem as a kid, I got a chance to come home. It was really a great opportunity to bring into Kernersville, who as a partner was looking for a project to bring something new to the town they didn't have, which was a help in bringing some new housing opportunities. They already had good job growth here, but they needed some new housing opportunities. And so in 2014, we were really getting started with that, bringing it here.
Gotcha. Well, so when this project started, I remember when it was just a concept, and you came on board and really tried to grow the plan, make it into something that became an actuality. So take us through those first few years of, from concept to on paper. What does all that look like? I mean, I know people don't understand that's hours and hours and weeks and months and years of planning before you even get started. What does that kind of look like?
And in this case, it was almost 4 years before we broke ground. From the time we started with our design charrette that we did, we started with meetings with the stakeholders, where we engaged people from the town of Kernersville, both elected and appointed officials and staff. We engaged people in the community through a number of meetings out here. We worked with folks that worked up here at PTRC, at the Piedmont Triad Regional Council, on different things that were wanted in the market, types of housing, types of streets, types of amenities, types of partnerships. And so over those 4 years, we did a multi-day design charrette in the office. We tested the ideas, we drew them out, we threw a lot of things in the trash. And through along the way, all the stakeholders that we participated with stayed engaged. 2015, we took the plan to Town Hall in the town of Kernersville and started the actual entitlement process. Which carried through for several months, working with the staff and the elected officials there to come up with a long-term plan. Well, it's a long-term plan. It's not going to be executed in a few years. It's got a long view. So we needed everybody on board to know that it's going to take some time to get there. We're really just in the infancy of this project, even as far along as we may have gotten. We sold our first house, I believe, in 2017. Over in a section called Eastover Park. And since then, we've worked through about 300 homes and townhomes, and we're now close to 300, I think it's 302 as of today, that are built and occupied. We've got a long way to go. Right.
So now you've gotten to that point, you got your plan on paper, you're starting to develop. Talk about conceptually, this being such a master plan kind of deal, the importance of connectivity, walkability, amenities, parks, pocket parks, whatever that looks like. How was that integrated into your plan?
So it's a great question. As a planner, you got to take your vision, and it's a team effort. there's a whole group of folks behind this. And so you take your team's vision, you put it on paper. We actually drafted what we called a vision book that we took through with our entitlements and presented it as part of the plan. And this vision book is really your guidebook to taking it forward. I'm really fortunate because I get to be called the vision keeper. And my job, in addition to making sure that the trash gets picked up and there's water in the pool, is to look at this vision book regularly and then make sure we're staying true to it. On a long multi-year project like this, where things don't happen instantaneously, you have to make sure you've got something to go back to and use that. And so as we worked through the vision of those things that make a traditional neighborhood in modern sense real, the interconnectivity, the multiple housing types, the proximity to parks and playgrounds. You know, one of our design pieces was to make sure that no house, apartment, townhouse, place where someone lived was more than 3 minutes away from some kind of community amenity, whether it's a park, a plaza, a playground, this pool. You know, those things. We wanted to make sure that everything was in close enough proximity that you had the choice to walk. We have enabled things such as golf cart parking in places, and we do provide for the automobile, but it's really about being able to walk to somewhere. There's a walking trail that comes up over on the other side of that fence that folks use to get to places, and part of it is multiple ways to get to places. And then a critical piece of that is to make those walks interesting. And you make those walks interesting through the building choices that you make, the design choices you make for those buildings, what that porch looks like, how big is the porch, is it big enough to actually treat as an outdoor room so that you use it, so that you can see your neighbor, say hey, and maybe they go for a walk with you.
Right, right. So talk about the different products in Welden that you have single family, multifamily, different sizes. Your styles and your build types are very interesting. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to go for a walk in a little bit and see some things, because we do have quite a variety here in Welden of homes. And from the beginning, it was intentional to make sure that you had this along your streets and walkways, you had this interesting diversity of housing type. You may go from larger homes on the edge to smaller homes in the middle, and then attached homes in the very middle, so that your density went from low to high. But the design elements stay true to that. Larger homes with larger porches,
yes.
More urban areas with smaller outdoor open spaces, to places where your outdoor open space is actually a community park.
Right.
Right? And all of those things were important to promote from the beginning. So as we built Welden Center, the first neighborhood within Welden Village, we needed to have that representation. We're sitting here in a very dense section of the village. We're near the village center itself, where the commercial and some of the mixed-use activities will be.
Good lead into my next question. This is not just residential. It's going to accommodate commercial, and I think I saw there's going to be a grocery store anchor center. Is that
well, we've left room in the plan
Okay.
for in the neighborhood shopping center. We call it Commercial Block 4, the commercial district, for those commercial amenities that folks really want and need, and so the village center, which you can see in the background over here, presently has 2 commercial buildings, and then there's room as we go to fill out back over toward Highway 66 and Bishop McGinnis and other kind of facilities.
Right. Well, folks, we're sitting here at the amenity. It's the community pool. What's it called?
It's called the Creek Club.
Creek Club, right? And so, as you can see behind us, it is quite phenomenal. Talk about the planning of this, because there's a lot more to this than what our viewers can actually see.
Yeah.
So tell us about what has gone into this and what you have here.
And so, like everything at Welden, it's built in increments over time. That's how traditional neighborhoods grow up, is in small, manageable increments over time. And so we started with the bathhouse and the pool facility. And the pool is a junior Olympic sized pool. It's got 6 lanes. It's got a 0 ledge entry. It's a nice place to go and relax on a hot summer day. There are multiple phases planned here. This was the first phase. Second phases will come down the road, and they'll fill in some of these voids on the edges here in this 2-acre amenity site.
Right. Nice.
Jason, would you like to go take a walk and see some of the stuff we built out here?
Yeah, that would be great.
We're going to start over in Eastover Park.
All right, let's do it.
Great.
Well, we're back walking down through Eastover Park.
Eastover Park.
Here in Welden Village. We're having a little bit of rain, nothing like earlier where we got poured on. But so Kernersville is a small town, Milt. How, and with our job situation and the market constantly evolving, how are consumers and Welden buyers grasping the concept of Welden Village?
I think it's really interesting here. We're in the first area that we built in Welden Village, now going on 7-8 years old. And we sold almost 27 homes before we had a sign up.
That's cool.
And the folks would find us and say, wow, that's really unique. This is the first house here. And that's really unique. And they grasp and enjoy the concept of a front porch that's close in proximity to things to walk to, like the square, to just enjoy. And we do have a good many resales come through here. And so the customers that are buying the homes are finding it too. And they say, wow, that's really special. We get to have I didn't know that still existed. Right. Because so many times it's only in historic districts where you get to see this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But you see the homes have an outdoor room that gives folks a place to express their own personalities and enjoy the space.
Yeah, when I drive in, and personally, and drive through, the first things you see are these massive front porches and the livability of them. What was that your vision? I mean, was that really your total goal here is to, hey, let's make this driving here and feel real inviting. We want people at 5 o'clock when they get home from work to sit out here and talk to their neighbors and that kind of thing.
Exactly. And those chance encounters with your neighbors are what really build friendships and community. And so being able to provide a place that lets them do that, it was all part of the vision in this execution of the traditional neighborhood. If all you had was a garage that you drove into after the end of the day, and in the morning when you left for work you drove out of your garage and you never had a chance to see someone's child or someone's grandparent or someone's friend sitting on the porch, you just don't build relationships.
Yeah.
And so we thought that was very important. And our homeowners that are here now and are looking and have left, they did. They enjoyed that. Some folks found it to be a challenge because folks were, all up in their business at times.
Yeah.
But that's part of a lifestyle. And so like we looked at earlier with the fronts and the rear of the homes, putting in these alleys so that that you had a place to put your vehicles, so you could have the house be the front, the front porch be the house, have your vehicles in the back. It really enabled that to happen. These alleys are small. A lot of some places have very wide alleys that feel like roads. These are small alleys, and so vehicles go slow. It's a place for folks to chill out at the end of the day. It's really interesting what you see in the garages when folks are out working on their cars or their hobby room or whatever, to see what you get. But you get, again, places to personalize your yard and enjoy that kind of space. And listen how quiet it is. You're off the street. You don't hear the road noise from the front. You get this kind of respite of an area. And then what we would do in places like at the end of the alley is we'd put our community facilities like the mailbox.
Oh, nice.
So that folks had easy access. The Postal Service doesn't deliver mail any longer to the front door. They put it onto the development community to provide. But we built it as a place for folks to gather.
You've now featured a fault, right? That's what
right.
we call it.
That's right.
It's nice to see, though, your mail facility, how you've kind of built it to kind of tie into the community design. The streetscape's amazing. So everything's now matured. Is this kind of what you envisioned?
Yeah.
As the first section's matured, now we're, you still got a long way to go, obviously, but is it what you had? Is it kind of what you envisioned?
I think it is. I think it's satisfying the market. I think it's satisfying us as a development company. It's not a terrible place to spend a day walking around in the rain.
All right, welcome back. We're at the newest borough, Springvale Hill, in Welden Village by Arden Homes. We're here with Milt. We're going to walk down the street here, and he's going to give us some information about this community. This is the newest product out here, so let's take a walk.
Jason, the really fun thing about Springvale Hill and these new cottages that we've got here is it features so much of the same community streetscape aspects. It's just, we walked through Eastover Park a little while ago, and this is what Eastover Park felt like about 7 years ago.
Right.
With new trees and new sidewalk. And so over the years, these cottages will provide a housing opportunity for folks looking for a slightly smaller place, a little closer into the village center, but they still have the access and the porch or the stoop or the limited lawn maintenance responsibilities, those aspects that are appealing to many in the marketplace. And just at the end of the street, you can see it just at the end of the street is where we were earlier at the Creek Club.
Yes.
And so you're not but about a 3-minute walk or a 1.5-minute golf cart ride to the community pool, and you're about as close to the village center. Still, these homes may be smaller, but they still have the large front porch, the 8-foot minimum depth that gives a good outdoor room for your porch furniture or a table or other kinds of things.
Now notice you have quite a few homes that are available. We're standing in one currently that is under contract, but what availability of product do you have at any given time?
So generally out here, there are 4 or 5 inventory homes that are available. Dylan and our sales office knows the details.
Yeah.
I don't know all the
I
details,
understand.
but there's generally 4 or 5 that are out here in some form or fashion that are about ready to go. Here in Springvale Hill, we have several that are about ready to go. We have another one that's getting closer, but we do also have the pre-sale opportunity, so you can come out and pick your plan and find your lot and start from the beginning if you want.
Okay.
And work through that process with our builder team.
Okay, so Milt, if people want to find out more information, where can they go get information?
You can come learn about Welden Village at our Arden Homes website. It's just ardenhomes.com, ARDENHOMES.com.
Okay, thank you.